The words sliced through the crisp morning air like a blade, followed by cruel laughter that echoed around the school gates. Students turned, some snickering, others pretending not to notice. But everyone saw. Everyone heard. At that moment, if you're watching this, don't scroll, because what happened next is something you'll never forget. And maybe, just maybe, you'll see why strength doesn't always wear muscles, sometimes it wears scars. So stay till the end, hit that like button, and subscribe, because stories like this deserve to be heard. Her name was Emily Carter, a quiet 16-year-old girl with a pale scarf wrapped around her head and a soft smile that she wore like armor. It had only been 3 weeks since her chemotherapy ended. She was back at school, fragile but hopeful. Her biggest wish wasn't pity, it was normalcy. She wanted to walk through those gates without the whispers, the stares, or the pitying looks, but life, as usual, had other plans. Waiting near the entrance were Tara, Jess, and Megan, the trio that ruled the hallways with mockery and makeup. They weren't villains by blood, just broken people who thought hurting others made them stronger. As Emily approached, clutching her backpack strap, Tara smirked. "Hey, cancer girl," she called out loud enough for the crowd to hear. "You forgot your hair at the hospital?" The laughter that followed was sharp, like glass. Emily stopped, her throat tightening. Her mother had told her to ignore them, to rise above it. But when Jess stepped forward, snatching the hat from her head and holding it up like a trophy, the crowd gasped. Her bare scalp caught the morning light, a mark of survival, but to them, it was weakness. "Shut up, cancer girl." Jess spat as Emily tried to grab it back. "You're not special. You're just HEY." A voice boomed from behind the crowd. Deep, commanding, like thunder rolling over the ocean. The crowd parted. Standing there was a tall man in a dark navy hoodie, his face calm but eyes deadly serious. Emily froze. Her heart skipped. "Dad," she whispered. The girls turned, laughter dying instantly. Even before he spoke, his presence demanded respect. Chief Petty Officer Jack Carter, retired Navy SEAL, a man who had spent years doing things most people couldn't even imagine, stepped forward slowly. His eyes scanned the 3 girls, not with anger, but with the chilling stillness of a man who's seen far worse. "Which one of you," he said quietly, "just insulted my daughter?" No one answered. You could have heard a pin drop. The bravado that fed their cruelty evaporated. He didn't yell. He didn't threaten. Instead, he knelt beside Emily, gently placing her hat back on her head. "You okay, sweetheart?" Emily nodded weakly, tears burning in her eyes. Then Jack stood and looked at the girls again. "You think she's weak," he said, voice calm but shaking with conviction. "You think surviving what she did makes her less?" Tara tried to mumble something, but Jack raised a finger. "My daughter," he continued, "has faced poison running through her veins. She's watched her own hair fall out in the mirror and still smile through it. She's fought battles no soldier ever could inside her own body. You'd have broken on day 1. The silence grew heavier, and several kids lowered their eyes in shame. Even the bullies stepped back, their faces red, but then, instead of leaving it at that, Jack did something unexpected. He didn't lecture. He looked at the crowd, all the silent bystanders who watched but didn't act, and said, "You all saw it. You all laughed. You all stood there. So tell me, who's really the weak one here?" A hush fell over everyone. And then, one boy from the back, stepped forward and said softly, "I'm sorry, Emily." Then another. And another. Until the entire group murmured apologies, voices trembling with guilt. Emily couldn't hold back her tears anymore. She turned to her father, who simply nodded. "Sometimes," he whispered, "you don't have to fight with fists. Just truth." The bullies were called to the principal's office later that day. But what mattered wasn't their punishment, it was the change. The same kids who once mocked Emily now stood beside her in the cafeteria, in class, at the bus stop. Tara and Jess even apologized in person, tears in their eyes, saying they never realized how cruel they had been. And Emily? She didn't stay bitter. She forgave them. She joined the school's awareness group for cancer survivors, giving talks that inspired others not to pity her, but to see what real strength looks like. Months later, when she stood on stage at the school assembly, sharing her journey, her dad sat in the back row, arms crossed and eyes glistening. "People will call you names," she said to the students, voice steady, "but those words can only break you if you believe them. I didn't survive cancer to be ashamed, I survived it to live." The audience erupted in applause. Some kids cried. Even Tara, sitting in the front row, clapped with her head bowed when Emily walked off the stage. Her dad hugged her tight. "You didn't just beat cancer," he said softly. "You beat fear." And that's the kind of story we need more of: real courage, real forgiveness, real strength. So if this story touched your heart, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more stories that remind us that no matter what we face, we can always rise.